Anxiety, really bad anxiety that I think had been masked from being on the pill for years. I really had to take a step back and look at my whole lifestyle. Wellness is so different for everyone, and it's not about doing everything. It's about doing less, but doing them better. Learning more about me and, like I said, it's all personal. What works for me, what doesn't work for me.
This is Catch-Ups in My Kitchen, the catch-up you need every week in order to look, feel and be the best version of yourself. Join me in my kitchen every week as I speak to a new guest about all things food, health and wellness. Whether it's a specialist in their field, an inspiring story, or just a big girly catch-up full of all the recommendations, tips and advice. In my kitchen, we talk about it all. Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch-Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. In my kitchen this week, we are joined by Belle Robinson, who's known on Instagram as Glow with Belle. And this is a big old girly wellness chat. The chat that we always need. Think wellness group chat, all the recommendations. We are talking about bride-to-be, what the prep should be. We're talking collagen, we're talking electrolytes, we're talking Pilates over HIIT, you name it, we are discussing it, as well as a really exciting topic, which is a new product that Belle is working on, which is launching in the US at the end of the year. This is the wellness chat we all need at this time of the year, thinking about how to feel and look our best. You are going to love this episode. So without further ado, let's go and meet Belle in the kitchen. Belle, welcome to my kitchen. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited about this chat. I think we're going to go and cover pretty much everything, and I'm ready.
All things girly wellness.
Exactly. Do you mind giving a very quick elevator pitch, who you are and what you do?
So I am Belle Robinson, also known as Glow with Belle. I am a naturopathic nutritionist and also the founder of a product that I'm launching later this year in the US, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah, you just touched on it and I'm like, this is amazing. So we are definitely going to go into it in more detail. We have a quick fire round about all things food. So what is your favourite restaurant in London?
Such a hard one. I am a big foodie, but I love Greek food and Zephyr, big fan, but also Gaia, because they have my death row dessert and
What
I
is
love
that?
it.
What is your death row
So
dessert?
it's like this Greek yogurt, but it's frozen and it's almost whipped, and then they top it with Greek honey and walnuts, and it is incredible.
God.
You have to try it.
I need to go.
You have to go.
Yeah, Zephyr, love. I haven't been to Gaia, so I need to go. Yeah. Go to Deliveroo.
I'm not a big delivery fan. I'd always rather cook, but when I do order, I quite like Nudie. Do you know Nudie?
No.
Do you know it?
Is it noodles?
It's not noodles, but it's basically created by one of the founders of the Good Life Eatery, and it's like a healthy alternative. Well, it's a pasta, but she spent a long time creating the pasta, I think in Italy, and it's a high protein, low carb alternative, and it tastes amazing. I think it's made of pea flour.
Love.
And they also do this incredible cauliflower gnocchi.
Oh my God, amazing.
It's really good. It's like 85% cauliflower or something. So you can choose your sauce and then you can add proteins. So it's a really nice...
Oh, that's a great one. And you're not going to make that at home. So that's a good little treat.
So it's nice. It's something different that you wouldn't have in the cupboard.
Nice. Okay, what is your hangover meal?
Hangover meal, I always like to cook on hangover. I try and get in as much nutrition as I can the next morning. So something like a loaded toast. I always keep the Burley Bakery seedy bread in my freezer. It's the best. So I'll top that with some cottage cheese. I'm a big fan of cottage cheese. A lot of protein and avocado, hot honey, and some like broccoli sprouts and greens would be
nice.
Be a good one for me.
Yeah, nice. I actually went to the Burley Bakery recently and I hadn't been.
Had you not been?
No. And then I saw, and I was like, I was there really early in the morning and I was like, I can't actually, I was about to go to a Pilates class. I was like, I don't really want to bring the bread. But I was like, that looks insane.
It's really good. It's like the most expensive loaf of bread in London, but I promise you it's worth it. And
put it in the freezer.
Put it in the freezer, exactly. Yeah. It lasts quite a long time because you keep it in the freezer.
Yeah, love that. Okay, favourite coffee shop or matcha spot?
So if it's matcha, always teas.
Teas always, yeah.
Always. And I do their vanilla matcha with half hot water, half almond milk, and I always add collagen. But if it is coffee, because I also do like coffee, I love Amar. on Chelsea Green.
Oh,
It's like Colombian coffee.
Yes,
the yellow one.
Yes, I've been.
Yeah.
I've worked there once.
Yeah.
Not the best work spot because
it's
can't
tiny.
Really,
it's like
tiny.
not one for like sitting inside. It's sitting outside's quite nice on Chelsea Green, or kind of a grab and go. But yeah, I like their coffee.
Yeah, good one. And which food for you is a complete no-no?
There's nothing no-no in terms of I don't really like, but I wouldn't buy bottled smoothies.
Oh my God, may as well buy a bag of Haribo.
Yeah, and like it's basically all sugar and carbs, and they're so easy to make at home, and you can make something really nice and really balanced and getting your protein, getting some healthy fats. So yeah, you wouldn't really see me buying those.
I agree. What was those ones that people used to have when I was at school? Was it Naked? The Naked.
Oh yeah, the Naked ones. They were everywhere when I was at uni. And I think it was like 3 servings in one or something like that. And people would drink the whole thing, and it's like 60 grams of sugar. So it's
insane. And like being healthy.
Yeah,
it's like a blue smoothie.
Really, really misleading.
Yeah. And which is your favourite dish to cook at home?
I love cooking. But now we're in summer. Well,
apparently.
Summer. We're full on in salad season. So I love making a really good chopped salad. But it has to be a good salad. So I chop in as many veggies as I can. I love the bold bean co. Queen butter beans or chickpeas, and I air fry them in paprika and sea salt, and I add those, and then I add in shredded chicken or prawns or something, and then I make a really good salad with apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard, maple syrup, lemon. Yeah,
delicious.
So good. It's the best. Yeah,
I love that.
Love a chopped salad.
Okay, I want to start with your kind of food healing journey, because you touched on that quite a lot on socials, and I think it's so refreshing when someone talks about it, because I think everyone has negative thoughts when it comes to food and wellness. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of pressures. And sometimes it's really refreshing to speak to people who are like, yeah, I used to have a really negative relationship with food and now it's positive. And this is how I kind of healed that relationship.
Totally. And, I've always had a big love for health and for nutrition, but everything kind of changed for me around 2 years ago when I came off the contraceptive pill. Been on the pill for years, like many women, and it's not until you come off that you really understand how much of a plaster it has been.
Yeah.
And so many of us go on the pill and we don't even know why we're on it.
Completely. Yeah. It's actually really scary. And like I've spoken to a lot of people about like female hormones and like fertility and all of these things. And I always say it's crazy because you get to a certain age and you're like, I just want to prevent. Yeah. I'm embarrassed.
Totally.
Blood is scary. Yeah. Like, oh my God, no. And you just want to like do whatever you can to like prevent it. And then suddenly, like a click of your fingers, you're like, I want to have children.
Yeah, years go by. So I went on the pill, and I remember the only reason I actually went on the pill was because all of my friends were on the pill. So I thought that was the normal thing to do, and this was way back when I started uni. So I'll be honest, I was quite scared to come off because you hear these scary stories and these symptoms that arise, but I did. I made the big decision to come off after being on it for a long time, and a lot of things changed. A lot of things almost changed overnight. Like my mood was really irregular. My sleep was really impacted. I just felt very stressed. I had anxiety, really bad anxiety that I think had been masked from being on the pill for years. I didn't feel anxious when I was on the pill, but when I came off, it almost hit me in the face all of a sudden. And also my period didn't return. So after kind of seeing these symptoms arise one by one, I really had to take a step back and look at my whole lifestyle and really go in and make some fundamental changes.
And what were some of those changes?
So I was go. I was living in a state of fight or flight. So I was very much in hustle culture, doing high intensity workouts, fasting, doing all the things that I thought we should do for wellness and trying to tick everything off the list. And I really realized that wellness is so different for everyone. And it's not about doing everything. It's about doing less, but doing them better. So I started off by cutting out HIIT workouts. I was a big Barry's fan.
Yeah, same. I
was a Barry's.
I still love Barry's now and again.
Do you? Yeah.
But I used to be very much more HIIT.
But I also think that I told myself it was fun. But I think now I've swapped to Pilates and weight training. I really enjoy that. Yeah. And I don't get that dread before a class, and I don't think, should I cancel the class? Should I not cancel the class and overthink it? I just kind of go and really enjoy that hour to myself. So yeah, I cut out all of the high intensity workouts. I stopped the fasted workouts as well, because for years I would wake up, rush off to my workout, rush home, shower, do my bits and bobs, and I wouldn't eat for probably been up for about 4 or 5 hours. You know, your body really does need fuel to support you, and it's just causing this massive cortisol spike first thing in the morning, which is ultimately leading to heightened inflammation. So yeah, it's really, really important to fuel before you work out. I've learned that.
It's so true. And like, I'm really bad at that because I used to always say that I like work out better empty.
Me too.
And I almost still feel like I kind of do because I work out in the morning and I can't really eat and then work out and then it's like timings are off. But if I do end up working out in the afternoon for some reason, I'm always a bit like, oh, that felt different. And that's obviously because you've eaten before.
You've got fuel in the tank. And you know, it's like a car having petrol. It's like you really do need to give it something to work with. And I was exactly the same. And it took me a while to really get into kind of having something to eat first thing because I work out in the morning as well. But now we can go into my morning routine. But a big part of that is having my shake first thing. So I have 2 breakfasts. I'll have like a pre-workout shake, which is super balanced and fuels me, but it's not too heavy. And then when I'm back from my workout, I'll go all in with my kind of high protein meal.
Yeah. And we'll get onto the morning routine in a minute.
Yeah.
But that is a good one.
Yeah. I think it's really important. I don't think enough people do it.
No, it's really true. Yeah. It's really true. We do get up, have our alarm that goes off. It's like screaming at us, like, get up. We're straight into the gym. We're then probably like grabbing our coffee and it's like...
It's just go like, from the moment that alarm goes off. And it's just giving your body a chance to just breathe. And that's the other thing, deep breathing, I've incorporated into my morning routine. So I would have my shake and then I would just sit down and do, you know, less than 5 minutes of deep breathing, but it would change my whole mindset and how I went into my day. So in for 4 and out for 6.
That's really good.
Which makes me feel like I need to breathe now. Every time I remember it, I always do it. Even if I'm at my desk in the afternoon and back-to-back Zoom calls, in between I will just take a minute and just do some deep breathing, and it's so underrated.
It's so underrated. I had Jamie Clements on a couple of weeks ago from the Breath Space, and we were speaking about all things breath. And I think since then, I've been really conscious about it. Like even like waiting for your coffee to arrive, or like in the lift, or like whatever, just those micro moments, breathing is actually just like, it just gives your body a second. And I honestly feel like I'm multitasking constantly, triple tasking, if that's even a thing. And I'm like, whoa, calm, like take a breath.
Moment. And you know, if you have 5 minutes free, a lot of us will pick up our phone and scroll. And it's like, you can scroll, how are you going to feel after you scroll TikTok or Instagram for 5 minutes? It's going to feel so overstimulated and your brain is going to feel even more overloaded. But if you take those 5 minutes just to do some deep breaths and take a moment to yourself, you're going to go into that next meeting just feeling totally different.
Completely. I agree. Okay, so you swapped out HIIT.
Yeah.
You started fueling before you worked out. What else? What other things did you change?
I also really prioritize my sleep. So I've always been, you know, we know sleep's good for us. It's the same old. We know we should be getting 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep every night. But I was choosing my workouts and my early mornings and late nights over sleep.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of us do. We're exhausted, but we think we've booked that class. We must get up. We must go. So I do have an Oura ring, and I don't live by it. I think they're great, but I don't, it doesn't rule my life. But it has been a really good tool when it comes to looking at how I do sleep. And, if I'm watching TV before bed or if I'm scrolling, how does that impact my sleep? And my different levels, my deep sleep, my REM sleep. So that's been really helpful in kind of just learning more about me. And, like I said, it's all personal. What works for me, what doesn't work for me.
This episode is sponsored by Health, the one-stop shop for all things well-being. Health is a platform you'll quickly realize you cannot live without. They offer a carefully curated selection of the world's best well-being products. Whether you're looking for Array's de-bloat tablets, looking to top up on your Homantra electrolytes, or even looking to treat yourself to a red LED face mask, Health have it all. And they also know that well-being looks different for everyone. Not to mention that they are also Healthy Habits' first stockist. So when you place your next health order, you can now add our Healthy Habits mouth tape to your next order. You can now shop with 10% off using the code Georgia10. So if you want to shop at Health, head to www.health.com, spelt HEALF, and use the code Georgia10 to get 10% off. If you do add our mouth tape to your order, make sure you tag us and share your mouth tape journey. Now let's get back to the episode.
So yeah, just resting more and kind of leaning into a slower lifestyle. I've really relaxed, honestly. I used to be so much more uptight. I am type A, so I'm very kind of like, I'm always early. I like to do everything 100%, but I have really had to learn to just relax and slow down.
It's so important. And like, again, when I was speaking to Jamie, I was talking about like the importance of like rest and how it is productive, and how like there was like a thing we were saying how 2 guys are chopping wood with the same axe, and then they've got to like try and cut all the wood to the end, and one guy stops, sharpens his sword or his axe, and then goes back and chops wood again, and he finishes first. And that like sharpening of the axe moment is the rest.
Totally.
And he won because it was more productive.
Totally.
And it's like, I'm terrible at rest.
I know.
If someone stole my sofa, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I never sit on it.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at rest. But like you, I've also really prioritized sleep recently because I know how important it is. You have so many more cravings. You're so tired. You're grabbing like that other coffee, or you're wanting that other pick-me-up.
Everything. And how you go into your next day and just how you live your life. And you're basically, people think if they have 5-6 hours sleep, they can make up for it. But sleep doesn't work like that. And a really good book is called Why We Sleep. And it's not about catching up. It's about tuning in to now and doing what we can and really just respecting our body. And also with that is obviously comes diet when it comes to kind of supporting hormones, and healthy fats have been, I've always eaten balanced plates, but I've really upped my fats, and fats are the building blocks of our hormones. So they're really, really important. So I've gone all in. I have a big jar in my cupboard called Magic Seeds, and I add in all the seeds, and I'll have a spoon of those on all of my meals. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I love like nutrition stacking and adding, like I always think, what can I add? What can I add? What can
always.
I add? Can I add avocado? Can I add nutritional yeast? Can I add like seeds? And I think, I agree with those.
It's all about nourishment. And I think people focus so much on what they can remove or take out or restrict. But it really is those, adding in. What can you add into that meal to make it more nutritious? And I think that's where there really has to be a shift in mindset. Health isn't always about neglecting yourself for things. It's just all about nourishment.
Completely. I agree. Another one with sleep for me, I think that what made me realize I needed to focus on it more was actually the mouth tape. When I started that in January, and I was not a mouth breather, I was like, let's just try it. Because I love like trying new things, but then obviously ditching them if they're not for me. And I was like, oh my God. And I was getting this deep sleep every night. And I was like, I feel like unstoppable in the day. And I was like, wow, okay, sleep is important. And before that, like you, I would like always sacrifice sleep for workout or like staying out later and still getting up at the same time. Like sleep was always the first to go up on my priorities.
Agreed.
And now I'm like, oh wow, okay, it is really important and it does make a difference.
Yeah, it really does.
So let's touch on going on into diet in more detail in terms of like cortisol spikes and like balancing your hormones and things like that, because you touched a lot about this. And I think it's really important because what we eat and when we eat things has a massive impact on that. So touch on that and what kind of foods you love and don't.
Balanced plates are something which it's such an easy place to start, but it's the best thing you can do for your nutrition. So when you look at your plate, you should have half of it should be colourful fruit and veg. A quarter of it should be complex carbohydrates. So when I say complex, we're talking about brown rice, sweet potato, quinoa, and a quarter of it should be protein. And I always add 1 to 2 tablespoons of healthy fats. So you're getting a really good all-round balance. Everything you need that's going to really set you up for the afternoon, the morning, whatever it is, your blood sugar is going to be completely aligned. And it makes all the difference in how you feel. So kind of sticking to that and planning your meals around that is, one of the best things you can do for your health.
Completely. I agree. And are you a sweet or savoury breakfast girl?
I have a big sweet tooth and I love a sweet breakfast, but I have prioritised savoury breakfasts for the love of my hormones.
I thought you were going to say that. Because I am like a sweet breakfast girl to the day I die. Like I really can't start the day savoury. Yeah. But then I was really battling with this whole like high protein breakfast being sweet. And I still am a massive granola lover.
Me too.
But I don't really have it very often anymore because like if I do, I'd make my own. But like I kind of now have like protein yogurt with like loads of fruit and like some nut butter.
Yeah.
And then because it's like higher protein than sprinkling granola on things.
It's really funny. I think people look at plates, you know, savoury breakfast, if you're having like an omelette or you're having eggs on toast or whatever it is, avocado toast. I think people look at that and they go, gosh, that looks a lot for the morning. I couldn't eat that. And then they're digging into their porridge bowls or their granolas. And actually, the eggs or the savoury option is much more nutritious than what the other half are doing.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. But yeah, upping your protein in the morning, getting 25 to 30 grams of protein first thing is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
For your day, for your sugar cravings, for your energy, for your focus, it really will make the world a difference.
Yeah, completely.
And I always talk about the egg rule because a lot of people will have 2 eggs in a serving and they think, well, it's a great high protein breakfast or high protein lunch, but 1 egg only contains 6 to 7 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So if we're aiming for at least 25 grams of protein on our plate, you know, 2 eggs is 14 grams of protein. It's not enough. So I always say to aim for a minimum of 3 eggs. And you can bulk it up with egg whites, which I quite like to do sometimes.
Yeah, that's so good.
And, you know, it sounds a lot. I think, again, there's this whole stigma around, you know, 2 eggs is a serving. But once you start eating like that, I've never felt better.
Yeah, so true. My brother is obsessed with eggs. And like whenever he's home, he comes down, he's like, yeah, I need 6 eggs. And I'm like,
yeah, you're like,
Jesus.
That's a lot.
And he's having his eggs, and I'm like, 6 eggs. Yeah. I'm like, you're literally going to turn into an egg in a minute.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
But I think like 3 egg omelette, and I add in loads of veggies.
That's good.
And I also love adding in like sometimes like some chickpeas if I have like some pulses lying around. And pair it with like some butternut squash or like I said, some like bread out the toaster.
Yeah.
It makes a really nice balanced breakfast. And sometimes you think about swapping it around. If you want a savoury start to the day, and you've got such a sweet tooth, have the savoury meal first thing, and maybe have, you know, your high protein yogurt as a snack later in the day.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, there's this whole thing around breakfast foods, but there isn't really such a thing as breakfast foods.
It's so true.
You could have leftovers from dinner. That can be breakfast.
Yeah, I follow this girl who does that.
Yeah, it feels weird and it sounds weird, but it's actually the best start you could have to your day is eating something that's super savoury and is very blood sugar balancing. So
yeah, it's so true. I mean, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I
think it is.
Cannot function without breakfast. Like sometimes if I have a morning podcast, obviously because we're in my kitchen, I like the kitchen to like be immaculate. I don't want it to smell of anything.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So I always plan. Yeah, I always plan my breakfasts like in advance. But I'm always like, I couldn't miss breakfast. Like sometimes once I didn't have breakfast before, and I was just like, I'm not on my A game. I can't do it.
Yeah, all you think about is food as well.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? And I'm the same as you. I cannot cope without breakfast. And I think so many people don't have breakfast and they say, I'm not hungry in the morning, or I can't think about eating first thing. But actually they've trained themselves to not be hungry in the morning. So their body is not, you know, let's get up and go. It's not, your metabolism is not being revved up first thing because you're not giving it anything.
Yeah.
And that becomes normal. So what we feed our body and the routines that we kind of live and breathe and do every day becomes normal to our body. Our body doesn't know what's right and wrong. It just goes with what you're telling it.
So true. I actually think there's a massive thing on like self-talk versus like listening to your body, because you can tell your body what you want it to feel.
Yeah.
But then when you actually start tuning in, you realize actually what you need, and actually they're probably very, very different.
Totally.
Like, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
And then you're telling yourself you're not a morning person.
100%.
And like, oh, like I can only eat until like at 12 o'clock. And you're like, how do you know that you're just telling yourself that?
It's letting go of the rules. It really is letting go of the rules. And what someone does online, I'm always quite wary of sharing, you know, exactly what I do. And for a long time, I didn't know whether to share what I eat in a day, because a lot of people do ask me, but I did start sharing some what I eat in days, not to tell people that this is how you should eat, but to give healthy meal inspiration, and also to show you can eat a lot. Like, you know, don't be scared of food. Like this is normal, these plates. I think there's just so much noise online, and then this whole kind of skinny talk culture that we're leaning into, which I think is really scary and really dangerous.
It is really scary and dangerous, and like it's so easy to be influenced. And when you're thinking about food and searching food, your feed then obviously becomes this whole food porn page.
It's really scary.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm literally like swamped by all these inspirations and like what I should do, and I don't even know what I want or what I should do anymore. It's a lot.
Your decisions are being, dictated by social media, which is really crazy. Listen to your body.
Completely.
Don't listen to some random influencer or some random person online, or really step away and just listen to your body and figure out what it needs and what works for you.
Completely. So you started doing that when you got off the pill.
Yeah. So when I came off the pill, I really did take matters into my own hands, and I stopped trying to do everything.
Yeah.
I really slowed down. I went really back to basics with my nutrition and my lifestyle, and I've never felt better and more balanced.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And what is your morning routine?
So my morning routine is actually very sacred to me. I love, starting my day in a certain way. I am quite militant. I like things to start as they mean to go on.
Yeah.
So I wake up between 6:30 and 7:15. I have leaned, like I said, more into sleep. So if I know I'm having a later night, I will sleep in a bit longer. The first thing I do is I get up, I brush my teeth, and I tongue scrape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fan of tongue scraping. Nutrition starts in the mouth, get rid of all that bad bacteria.
Yeah.
And I love the Sayar one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really good. So I do all my oral health, I get ready into my workout clothes, and I go upstairs and I make my pre-workout shake.
What's in that?
So tends to have either a frozen banana or a big handful of frozen blueberries. I put a big dollop of almond butter. I do almond milk, which is always Plenish, and then I do a scoop of Form protein powder.
Yeah,
chocolate hazelnut is the best.
I always have to have 2 forms in my cupboard because I never know which way I'm going to go.
Which ones are you like?
Vanilla.
Oh, okay, or chocolate.
And
Yeah.
hazelnut.
I actually really like the Truvani vanilla. It's very good. You can buy it on Health.
Yeah,
that's great.
I tried that. Really good.
So I have my shake, and whilst I have my shake, I ice roll,
Nice.
which is always kept in the freezer, and then I will do some deep breathing. Mm-hmm. So before I'm heading out to the gym, I just sit there in peace, and I'll go, like I said, in for 4 and out for 6, and just do that a few times, just to really get into my zone and chill my nervous system out. So then I will walk to the gym or a class. I used to only do classes, but recently the last kind of 8-9 months invested in gym membership, which I'm really enjoying because there's some facilities there like a sauna and a steam room and a relaxation room. So I really have gone all in. For me, that's a real priority of having a space that I can go and I don't have to rush.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, it was all about rushing. So this has really helped me to slow down. So I'll go to the gym, and I am a big fan of apps. So I'll either do Form by Sammy Clark.
Love her.
Big fan of her strength workouts.
Yeah, did her this morning.
Yeah, me too. She's great.
Yeah.
Or Pilates by Bryony.
Yeah, also
Love
great.
her workouts too. So I do a mix, but I really am in my power Pilates era. So I love doing Pilates, but with weights.
Yeah. It's like the best of both.
Oh, it feels so good after it. It's I love Pilates and I love strength, but doing them together, I just feel so energized.
Yeah, I agree.
And also just taking my time, if I want to do, I do decide, do I want to do 30, sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 45. It just really depends how I'm feeling. And again, that goes back to kind of leaning into what works for me and listening to my body. I used to book these classes and I didn't have time to think if my body was feeling it.
Yeah.
You're
just doing it before you realised you were doing it.
Didn't even think about it. So yeah, we'll work out. And then after that, I tend to have a sauna, dry brush, then sauna. And I love that time because it's 20 minutes where I'm not on my phone. I'm not looking at a screen.
I agree. It's so nice.
It's so sacred. I'm not looking at a screen. I'm sitting there basically in silence. And I just have time to think. And that's been really special as well.
Yeah. I always think that when you're go, and suddenly you've got to go somewhere, you're walking somewhere and you're out of your office, out of your flat, out of wherever you're working, and you're having that moment to think, you're like, oh my God, I needed this so much. And ideas start coming and you get more creative and you start thinking about things and it's so valuable. But at the time when you're deep in the stress and the go, you're like, I don't have time for that. I can't do that.
Yeah, you don't give it any brain space.
Yeah.
And actually in the sauna is when usually I get some quite creative ideas, arise. And also when I'm in a treatment or a massage or something like that, they're the times when it's just me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
When I really do have time to think.
Completely agree. My favourite time to think as well, sounds so crazy, it's on a plane.
Yes.
Oh my God, get me on that plane now. Do not just, obviously airplane mode on.
I'm the same.
In the clouds, and it's ping, 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 all these ideas.
You're in your own bubble.
Yeah, it's so nice.
So nice. It's really nice. So yeah, then I tend to shower and get ready for the day, and then I will head home and make my breakfast number 2, which is, like I said, usually something around eggs. Sometimes I will have leftover dinner.
Yeah.
If I have like salmon, I'll do it with some like avocado and kimchi.
Nice.
Something like that. And like I said, I can always just chuck on. The freezer is the best thing ever.
The freezer is everything.
Just chuck in like, you know, a slice of wholemeal sourdough or seedy bread or whatever it is. Just add to that plate what you can.
Yeah.
And I always go back to those kind of balanced plate ratios.
I think it's so good. It's so good. And that is basics. Like when you look at like food tech at school, you probably had that pie chart.
Yeah.
And like it's literally back to basics.
And then I always have my caffeine after my breakfast.
Yes, me too. So something that I'm noticing and I'm really trying to work on, I haven't really spoken about this much recently, but it's supplements and where you're taking them in the day. So I've noticed or read that the effect of coffee has an effect on how your supplements are absorbed.
Your absorption, yeah.
So now I'm like, right, okay, I've got to have my supplements with food, but not with my coffee. So when the hell am I having them?
It's so overwhelming, isn't it?
It is
It's a lot.
And I went through a week of like not taking my supplements because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's you know, sometimes I think there's just so many rules.
Yeah.
And it can be really overstimulating to do everything right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tend to do supplements. Sometimes I'll do them with my shake.
Yeah.
Or I'll do them with my breakfast. And then I do usually wait like 45 minutes before I'll have my matcha.
Yeah.
But I'm not having like a black coffee on an empty stomach. You know, even with my matcha, I always put in 10 grams of collagen.
Yeah.
And I put in PHGG, which is a prebiotic fiber. So I'm kind of habit stacking my morning matcha and getting as much nutrition as I can into that 1 cup.
Yeah.
I'm also really picky with my milk. So I do plenish the cashew or the almond milk.
Yeah.
And also the quality of your matcha. So yeah, I'm making sure that that's a cup of goodness.
Yeah.
You can go right or wrong, you know, with matcha, and it's so easy to go wrong.
Can we talk about matcha in a bit more detail? Because I think you actually did a post on this the other day and I've spoken about this on the podcast before. Like some of the matchas are just... No.
It's insulting.
It's insulting. And also what I hate about wellness is that something so pure and so good gets turned into something so shit.
I agree.
And it's so sad. So like a matcha is an amazing caffeine source.
Yeah.
And it's a great drink. It's got loads of benefits. It's good for you. But now you can buy these blueberry matchas with whipped cream and like sprinkles. And you're like,
it's basically a dessert in a cup.
Why? Yeah. And then you're seeing people having their matchas who are thinking they're doing something good.
Yeah.
And they're not. And you're like, wait, this makes me sad.
It's really hard because the word matcha, people just instantly think healthy because it's green.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a few things I always ask when I order a matcha. So I always like to ask what brand they use.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of these matcha powders aren't even matcha.
No.
They're made up of a bit of green tea powder with a lot of other added ingredients and sugars and all sorts added into that matcha powder. So, always ask what matcha it is. Actually, at Black Sheep Coffee, I asked and they use Perfect Head, which is great.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
so and a lot of places are using Perfect Head now, which I think
it's a good one.
Good move.
Which is your favourite? So obviously Perfect Head's great.
I like Go Matcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice quality. It's mineral grade. Yeah, it's a great colour. It's a great taste. It's super smooth. And I have tried Cloucher as well, which I like.
Nice. And you've got to try Lalani.
Ooh, I haven't tried.
Oh my God, I'll show you after. It's like the bougiest matcha ever. Oh it's unbelievable.
Okay, I need to try this.
Do you do carve?
No, I actually don't do carve.
Okay.
I do.
They serve it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. But it's so good.
Okay, I need to try that. But also how the matcha is stored. Because again, so many of these cafes are storing their matcha in a large glass jar.
Yeah.
But that daylight is hitting the matcha, which is actually oxidizing it, and it's decreasing a lot of the antioxidant benefits. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can, you know, right and wrongs about matcha. But what I will say, if you're going to the same cafe every single day and ordering your matcha, make sure it's a good quality.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a good grade. Make sure, you know, the milk's half decent. And don't order it with whipped cream and all the syrups. Yeah. But if you're going to meet a friend for a matcha as a one-off and, you know, you want a fancy looking matcha, you don't need to overthink it. You really don't.
Agree. So, and if that's your treat.
Yeah, it really is about balance. Not even a treat. If that's your Saturday afternoon that that's your plan, go do it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it'll taste delicious.
Yeah.
But if it's, you know, you're going every single morning to the same place and you're buying your matcha out, just be a little bit wary of the sources and what they're using.
Completely agree. On the topic of things that we think are healthy but aren't, what else for you are things that you're like, things that are deemed as healthy, but they're just not.
Yeah, there's so many. Where do I start?
I know.
So yogurt we spoke about, but protein yogurts.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're kind of taking over.
Yeah, I'm really funny. So I've recently just got into like eating eggs again and having Greek yogurt again, because I have been dairy free forever, but Greek yogurt has not got lactose in it, which like blew my mind when I figured that out. So I'm like so funny when it comes to yogurt, and the only yogurt I'll have is either the Faye 5% Greek, or the Yo Valley.
Yeah. Me too.
5%, 10%.
That's the one I do.
Organic.
And you have, when choosing yogurt, you do have to be careful because so many of them say Greek style. Greek is so overwhelming. Live yogurt, kefir, like which one do we choose? So I would go for a unflavored, natural, high protein Greek yogurt. And I look on the back, and you want to be having around 9 to 10 grams of protein per 100 grams. Right, so if you're kind of seeing those numbers on the back, that's a really good one to earmark and to think, hey, that's a great source of protein. So go for the unflavored. A lot of these ones that are being sold is like strawberry protein yogurt with 25 grams of protein. They're full of so many, where do we start? Sweeteners,
gums,
flavor enhancements, gums, emulsifiers. And actually it tastes even better when you get that plain high protein Greek yogurt and you add in frozen berries and stir them through. Completely. That tastes so much more delicious than the ones that are pre-flavored and you can buy. So I would definitely.
Yeah, that's a big one. I always tell my parents that, because they for ages are buying like blueberry yogurt,
fruit-flavored yogurts.
And I was like, no, you can't do that in this house. No, remove. But like, it's so easy. It's an easy choice. Also, the whole like 0% fat. You want that fat.
You want the fats. And what's really interesting is when you start incorporating a higher fat yogurt. I had 0% fat yogurt for quite a long time, way back for years. And when you start to have the 5%, 10% higher fat ratio yogurts, you feel so different. It's a different level of satisfied. You're fully satiated. You're not feeling hungry again an hour later. You just, it's so much more nourishing.
Yeah, completely agree. So matcha,
yogurts, granolas are a big one. Store-bought granola. I am a big granola fan. I'm actually a big oats fan in general, but granola is hard because there's not really any/many on the market that I would recommend, but making your own is super easy.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, it feels, it can feel like such a big thing to do or a big task. But Sunday afternoon, on a Sunday, I make a big batch of granola and it lasts me the week. And I add in so many seeds. I do it with a bit of coconut oil, almond butter, a little bit of maple syrup, sea salt. And it is delicious. I look forward to breakfast every single day. I know what's in it. And it just ticks all the boxes. But
I agree.
Alongside granola, it's quite interesting. Porridge is a topic which I like to educate people on because people think porridge is a really healthy option. And oats are great. They're complex carb, slow release, but they're just a complex carb. So what can we add into that bowl of porridge to really make it a nutritious breakfast or start to the day? My dad's a good example of this. He always orders like porridge or oatmeal with berries when we're away. And I'm like, that's not going to keep you full for hours. You've just been to the gym. That's not going to do it. So it's a really great starting point. But again, thinking about what we can add in to make that a really nutritious but delicious breakfast. So I love adding like a protein powder. The Form chocolate hazelnut is great in porridge.
Yeah, so good.
I'll also add in some in vivo PHGG, which is like a fiber, prebiotic fiber, so to bump up the fiber. I'm big about fiber. And then add on, some berries, some nut butter, some cacao nibs for crunch. It's just really about
load it.
Load it up and build it out, and don't be scared. Some people are so scared of adding in.
I know. My dad is the same with porridge. His winter breakfast, he'll have bottle of porridge with blueberries and honey on top, and I'm just like, that's making me really sad. And I sometimes I'm like, can I make your porridge for you? And I'll add like chia seeds in it. He's like, what are those black bits? And I'm like, no, trust me. Like, I'm just like thinking that's a subtle start because like a little bit more protein there.
I've done it with my husband over the years. Honestly, I like love making his porridge because I can just pimp it out so much, and I just add in what I can. And now I think he's like fully on board with it. But at the start, he would question every ingredient that was being thrown in. Into
my
the
dad's
pan.
Still not there. He's still not convinced. I might get into this episode and be like, maybe you can be convinced now.
Like, let's balance those blood sugar levels.
Completely. But no, porridge was deemed a really unhealthy breakfast. And I think it's just like, it's so healthy if you pair it with the right things.
Yes, exactly. What can we pair it with? It's important.
Completely. Let's touch on creatine.
Yes.
This is a topic which I'm loving at the moment. It's the newest thing I'm trying. Again, a guinea pig, try everything. talk about your relationship with it when you started trying it, how you're finding it.
I feel like creatine is like the cool kid on the block at the moment. And it's been around for such a long time, but it used to be such a gym bro thing. Like it was quite like a scary masculine thing that like a lot of our boyfriends would have when we were younger, and my brothers would have. And I'd be like, oh, that is really bulking you up. But creatine is basically, it's made from amino acids and it's stored in, it's a naturally formed compound, but it's stored in our muscles. So we naturally make around 2 grams a day. You can bump that up with meat and seafood. But as women, we're probably not eating enough to actually fulfill our stores. So that's where supplementing it can come in. And adding in about 3 to 5 grams of creatine every day is a great way to, well, the benefits are actually more and more kind of coming out as we speak, but muscle recovery, endurance, cognitive function, and also mood enhancer. So there's a lot of noise and science around creatine at the moment, but there's also a loading phase. So this isn't the type of supplement you can add in and think, oh, I'll take it a few times a week, or I'll take it when I remember to take it. You really do have to be taking creatine every single day to reap the benefits. And the loading phase has been shown, I think it's 5 grams a day for a minimum of 4 weeks to really like load up on the creatine. So yeah, so definitely stick to it and give it a go. But I feel great on it. Yeah. And I'm not usually a gummy supplement fan, but I have been taking the Array tone.
Yeah, me too now.
Are you also taking it? What's your thoughts?
So I'm really new, like a week.
Okay.
So early days.
Yeah.
But, and again, I'm really not a gummy fan. I'm also not a sweets fan. So I was a bit like, oh, this is really seeming a bit foreign to me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a really easy introduction into the creatine world, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see.
Scary.
Yeah.
And I think with these powders, I initially started taking creatine as a powder, and Thorn is a good one if you are looking for a powder. But, you know, how many powders can we take? How many things, like I was finding, where can I add that into my day, or, you know, another thing to add in. So the gummies have been great in terms of fitting them into my daily routine. And, you know, I sometimes do like a half dose before I work out and a half dose after, or I'll do it all after. It just kind of depends. But yeah, definitely daily and implementing that.
I'm excited to see how I feel. I mean, so far, like I'm enjoying it. It's a nice little treat in a way. It's like, it tastes like a sweet.
Yeah.
So like, it's easy to take.
Yeah.
It's not a chore.
Yeah.
I'm actually only starting taking 2. Yeah. And then I'm going to build, because it says 3 to 4 on the back.
I take about 3 to 4. I sometimes take 3, sometimes take 4, but I have been taking creatine for a while now. But yeah, see how you feel as you go. But yeah, it's funny because old me, I feel like wouldn't have been into the gummy supplement thing. But that's another thing where I'm kind of just letting go, and I enjoy it. I enjoy that ritual every day.
It's nice.
And I do so many, you know, I'm so great in so many other ways in terms of my nutrition and my wellness. It's like, it's really not going to kill you.
If a gummy is going to make you take the supplement, then have the gummy.
If it works if it makes your day easier, then do it.
Completely. What other supplements do you take?
I take a lot of different supplements, and I'm always quite wary about sharing exactly what I take because, again, supplements are so oversubscribed. Yeah. Everyone's taking everything and no one sticks to anything, and they're all jumping on the next trend. So I do take a female multivitamin. Nice. I take liposomal vitamin C, especially when I know I'm drinking or I'm going away. But I do try and take that every single day. Magnesium glycinate I take in the evenings. I also take some B vitamins. But I do get my bloods done regularly. So I know what I need. And I know, you know, it's really important to do that because I was taking supplements and I was actually having too much of certain nutrients. So, which can be quite dangerous. So it's really important to get your bloods done if you're really serious about supplements.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think everyone can copy other people, but that's irrelevant.
It's a one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all approach. And actually it's, I think it's working with a professional is really important when it comes to supplements.
Completely. I want to touch on bloating. And if someone is struggling with bloat, it's the summer. Everyone wants to wear the shorts, wear the dresses and not bloat. What would you recommend if someone is struggling with bloating?
So I'm going to go back to basics, but digestion really just start in the mouth. So doing some deep breaths before we eat can really help just prime your digestive system and like get yourself into a rested state. Yeah. You know, if we're at our desk at lunch, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And we're like wolfing down our salad whilst replying to an email, whilst also looking at our WhatsApp. You know, we're so stressed that is not putting up the food into our body in like a rested system.
Yeah.
So try and be in a rested digestive state, take some deep breaths before you eat, and then chewing. I know they say that we should chew about 30 times per mouthful, which is a lot.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I'm not saying you have to do that, but even thinking about maybe we should be doing that, just, you're a bit more in tune with your eating habits and your eating hygiene. So just really kind of slowing down.
Yeah.
It should actually take us 20 minutes to eat a meal.
How crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't take, well, no. Yeah, it does not take me 20 minutes to
Which
eat
is
a meal.
about 5 minutes per quarter of your plate, which feels like a really long time if you eat and clock watch. So that's something else to consider, just slowing down and giving your digestion a helping hand. We want to help the gut. If we can help break it down here, we can chew our food more and it's going to be digested better down here. So it's just all, it's very simultaneous. You just need to help out every part of the digestive tract when you can. Bloating can just be,
I think it's also massively in the mind in terms of like the more you're stressing about bloating, the more you're going to bloat because you're then stressed. And then it's the whole cycle.
Yeah, totally.
And the more you bloat, the more you worry and the more bloated you get. And it's just like, again, the more we can kind of take a step back and like take the pressure off food, diet, bloating, when you just let go a bit.
Yeah.
Everything will start working.
Stress is the biggest trigger of bloating. And a lot of people don't know that. Like you said, they're stressing about being in a bikini. And it can actually trigger the bloat. So I know it's easier said than done, but just trying to kind of remove some of those stresses or just lower them down. And the way in which you eat can just make a big, big difference. And also what you're wearing, because if you're wearing really tight waistbands, a lot of us now wear tight jeans or shorts or whatever it is, that's really restricting your digestive system when it comes to the digestive process. So be aware of that. Try and wear something that's comfortable. Because that can really help.
So true. Talking about stress, let's talk about being a bride, because that can be stressful.
Oh, that can be stressful, yeah.
So let's talk about bride prep.
Yeah.
And what that looks like and what you did.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one of the most amazing days ever. But God, girls, we put so much pressure on ourselves.
There's so much pressure, and you have months of thinking about this one day further down the line, and you want to do everything right, but on that day, you really do want to be looking and feeling your best self. Feeling. No one talks about feeling enough, Everyone talks about how we look. They don't talk about how you're actually going to show up on the day of your wedding. You want to be the most energized, well-rested version of you. Getting into some of the habits. Oily fish was a big one for me. I really upped my oily fish before I got married. A few months before, I was having it around 4 times a week. So things like salmon, mackerel, anchovies. It's not for everyone.
No, but nice.
And there are plant-based, walnuts, chia seeds, things like that. But omega-3s are really the building blocks of the glow.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Skin health is everything. And also collagen is something I'm really passionate about. I incorporated collagen around 9 months before my wedding, but I took it very seriously. So I would take 5 to 10 grams every single day.
And what collagen are we taking?
I took a mix of marine and bovine, and I would mix it up. There's a lot of studies around marine being absorbed better, but I think they're both great in different ways, depending on the type. But I like Ancient and Brave as well as a brand. They're really great. So I was taking collagen every day. I was putting it into my matcha, which is a really easy way to take it. And I know there's a lot of noise around collagen and people saying does it actually work? But I personally really noticed a difference in my nails. Grew like crazy.
Amazing.
I really struggled having long nails before, and that was great. Also my hair, my skin, and I just felt really good with it.
That's so good.
Definitely the collagen. And also this was around the time when I swapped from coffee to matcha.
Okay. Why the swap?
I wanted a very calm energy. That you have so many stresses going on. You have everyone putting you in different directions and your mind is crazy busy. So just anything you can do to lower that cortisol and just chill out, I needed. So I really decided, I thought I'm going to lean into matcha, less of a spike. And that's kind of where my love for matcha really came from. But since then, I have the odd coffee, but I'm very much on the matcha wagon.
Love that.
And then not forgetting lymphatic drainage.
Yes.
Which I'm really passionate about and is something I did continuously in the run up to my wedding. There's a woman called Roxy, actually, and she comes to your home if you're London based, and she does this amazing treatment that's 90 minutes long, and it's all over lymphatic drainage, but then it's a deep tissue on your back.
Oh, wow.
And that for me, in the lead up to the wedding, was 90 minutes to yourself
Heaven.
to just think, like we were talking about. We just don't get enough time to think. So that made a really
that's so good.
difference.
And I also think there's so much lymphatic drainage we can do ourselves and do at home.
Yeah. There's so
Get those
much
legs
we can do
up
now.
the wall.
Yes, that is me every single evening. Legs up the wall, 15 to 20 minutes. There's so much. Yeah, you're right. There's so much we can do at home, and it's just about kind of being prepared. That's the other thing with being a bride. I feel like you're always running around, and a lot of brides I know say they forget to eat, or it's stressful time, so they're not prioritizing or nourishing themselves in terms of meals. So that's something which I really did prioritize. I always have, and I always had snacks on me on the go. So I was always prepared. And I always say this: fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because, if you're going out, or you've got a busy day the next day, just making double for dinner.
Yeah.
Or prepping some, complex carbs or extra protein. Taking a good bar out and about with you. All these little things can just make life so much easier for you.
Yeah, don't make life harder.
No, don't make life harder. And that's another thing, is I really do plan my meals for the week ahead.
God,
and
same.
I thought you were going to say you don't do it.
God,
and I was like, I know it sounds like a lot, but
I'm a nightmare.
Yeah.
On my notes,
yeah, I like to be organised
for every day of the week, and I'm filling that
I also do this because actually, if I'm out or I'm in, I just like to look at my week, kind of a few days before, and say, right, I'm in these nights. I'm going to cook this. I'm going to make extras for lunch. I'm going to prep my granola on a Sunday. And I know it sounds a lot, but it's the biggest life hack.
It is. It's a high maintenance thing you do to become more low maintenance. 100%.
100%. So I never used to be a food delivery person, but I have started using Ocado, and I will kind of look at plan. It literally takes me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
On a Thursday or a Friday, I will look at the week ahead. I will decide what I need to buy, what I'm cooking the following week, and get the delivery in for Sunday. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all my food's delivered on a Sunday. I make my granola. I can batch cook a few things, and I don't need to think about food.
A week, it's done.
Yeah, it's done. I know what's happening. I know what I'm doing, and that is the biggest life hack. And I think it is all just about planning ahead, being prepared.
I completely agree.
It makes a big difference.
And the same with being a bride. It is just like planning ahead, getting sorted, and like focusing on those key things. Like you want to glow, you want to have, you want to feel like as much yourself as possible, reducing the water retention, all those kind of things. Again, you can't do it all.
You can't do it all.
But also like enjoy
it.
This is your time.
And also that process, I know there's so many people become bridezillas and there's this whole stigma around everything, but enjoy that. And don't look back at that time and think how hungry and, undernourished you were.
Yeah.
Think how happy you are. You're enjoying it, and you're building up to this best day of your life.
Yeah.
And then show up on your wedding day and, be fully rested and be fully nourished.
Yeah.
So that you're not showing up hangry or agitated or, just feeling and looking. It really does come from the inside out. The way we feel is the way we look. So
yeah, I completely agree. And there is so much pressure on the day, and I think you're naturally going to be stressed anyway. Yeah. So like, let's not add to the stress.
No.
Let's just try and do as much as you can.
Yeah, let's make the process fun. And also with the workouts, don't feel like you need to be doing everything. There's so much noise on social media about how we should be working out or how many steps we should be doing. I think just lean into what you enjoy. Yeah. And since I've done reformer Pilates, I actually did a lot of hardcore before my wedding. That hour to yourself is so sacred, and you don't want to be dreading that hour and forcing yourself to go to some boot camp or some workout that you're, can't sleep because you're just like, oh, I've got that first thing tomorrow. I really, really looked forward to my workouts, and they were a time where it was just me. The instructor was telling me what to do. I just didn't need to think. And I really, really leaned into that.
That's so nice. Let's touch on the new project that you're working on. Talk to us about it. What is it? What's it called? Where are we finding it?
So it's something I've been working on for the last 14 months, and it's taken a long time to get here. I've been extra fussy in terms of ingredients, and we've been working with one of the best ingredient houses in the US, which I'm really excited to share. So we are launching the first to market nutrient-infused and functional ice cube.
I'm obsessed. I'm like, this is genius.
It's something very different, and it's going to be an alternative to your powders or your shots, and it's all about habit stacking. So we are launching with 4 different varieties. We've got an immunity cube, which is lemon, ginger, turmeric, honey, zinc, vitamin C. We've got a hydration cube, which is electrolytes and magnesium. We've got a glow cube, which is of course collagen, vitamin A and biotin. And then we've got our chill cube, which is actually a really fun take on the viral Sleepy Girl mocktail. We've made it low sugar, and we've got tart cherry, magnesium, L-theanine in there. And as you know, I'm a big fan of fiber and gut health. So each of the cubes has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. Because I was thinking, why not stack that in as well? You know, we don't have time to be taking our vitamin C and our zinc separately to, you know, everything else we should be doing on top of your fiber. So it's like, let's just stack it all in to this beautiful cube. They're pretty large. They're the size of like a fancy cocktail cube.
Nice.
And you just can drop, sip and thrive. And you can add them into any beverage. So still water, sparkling water, warm water. They're great in a vodka soda with the hydration cube or a gin and tonic. And they taste incredible. They look, honestly, the whole experience, how they melt into your beverage it's pretty magic.
I mean, it is kind of genius.
Yeah. Oh, and the name of the brand.
And it's called.
And it's called, drumroll. So it's Roxy Super Cube, spelled ROXII. And like wellness on the rocks. So
I love it. It's
fun.
So cool. And I think the wellness industry needs it. I think we need it. I think it's fun, playful.
Yeah.
You can have it in every day. Yeah. You can pop it in with your friends. You can have it in the morning. You know, it's versatile.
Really fun. And also the benefits of freezing. So like
we love the freezer.
Frozen is better than fresh. Like freezing really does lock in that nutrition. And we've invested in an amazing freezing technology. We're hyper freezing the cubes out in the US. Our manufacturing is in Chicago. So we're hyper freezing the cubes, and it basically locks in so much more of the nutrition and the goodness than kind of a lot of these powders and things that are sitting on shelf and just degrading over time. So
true. The freezer is our best friend. So this is great.
Big fan of the freezer.
I can't wait to see the socials of everyone.
Keep an eye on.
Ice stacking their freezers. I see that all the time. It's so satisfying. I love a chunky ice cube.
Ice talk, especially like, you know, we love, like, especially in the US, they love ice.
They love it.
They love it. And there's so much you can do with it now.
Yeah, these ice cubes are going to be...
Although I'm a big fan of the Brewmate. Do you know the Brewmate?
No.
You can now buy them on Health, which is amazing because I stacked up when I went to the US. But they're great. They're like a big, but they're not the Stanley.
Okay.
Just have a look and see what you think. But they're cool.
And when is it launching?
So we are launching in October.
Amazing.
September, October, but keep your eyes peeled.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
I'm actually going out to America around then, so perfect.
Yes.
I can try.
Yeah, we're going to hopefully launch on the West Coast.
Nice.
Because, and also a lot of people also always ask me why the US, why not the UK? But I think the US are really ready for it in terms of, you know, they are at the forefront of the health trends. They're always first there. We kind of follow after. So hopefully it will be here in the future. But our main focus is the US.
They have the weather for ice.
They do.
We don't right now.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, look at this. Although with our immunity cubes and our chill cubes, they are great in warm, like a tonic.
That's very true.
Immunity cube in warm water is, honestly, it's so good.
This honestly sounds great.
Yeah.
I love how innovative it is and how different it is. And it sounds very exciting. Our final question is, what is in your handbag? I love asking people this. It's so fun.
I'm always Mary Poppins because I always have a mix of anything and everything in here. Okay, let's see what we've got. So, mini Tangle teaser. These are really cute. I love these.
I've never found a mini before.
Have you not? They're so sweet. Yeah.
Oh my God, genius. Love that.
Okay, Kodo.
Kodo.
Do you use Kodo?
Yeah, she's on here.
Actually,
shout out
so
to her.
honestly,
she's gorge.
Her minis, she's great. And her minis are amazing. And I know it's a home fragrance, but I have really gone off perfume.
Because of the
endocrine disruptors and it's synthetic fragrance. And when I can, I do try and stick to natural fragrance now. And this has been everything. Her scents are incredible.
Yeah, which one's this one?
This is Citrus Bliss, which is quite summery.
I've not tried that one.
But Morning Glory is Morning Glory is actually my favorite, and Sweet Dreams.
Yeah,
Sweet Dreams I really like to wear. But they're super clean and they're fresh. And I like carrying a little mini with me. And then I am lip gloss. This is lip gloss, which I am a big lip person. Like I always have to have some sort of balm or gloss on my lips. And this has changed the game.
Yeah, I love it.
It's so good.
So good. Also their serum, I actually restocked it today. I'm obsessed with it.
Which one? The eye serum or the face
serum.
one?
It is amazing. I suffer sometimes with perioral dermatitis.
Yeah.
And I sometimes can get rashier hair. The serum is a joke.
Okay, I need to try this.
It's insane. I think I just ordered my third.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah,
I need to try.
I'm hooked.
You sold it to me. Little bits and bobs I always keep in here. So, see my keys. Oh, tea bag.
Oh, I have this.
I always take dandelion tea bags with me. I take them everywhere because you never know where you're going to be and what they're going to have on offer. Like I said, always prepared.
I've always got at least 3 tea bags. I will have a green balance from Yogi Tea. Really, really good.
Oh, is it good? I haven't tried that.
Really good. It tastes like the Pret green tea, which if you have ever tried the Pret green tea,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. That one, and also Stomach Ease from Yogi Tea.
Oh, yes, I have tried that one. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, love packing tea bags. Liposome with vitamin C. I went on a hen last weekend, so I am all about immunity pre and post. So this comes everywhere with me.
Yeah, love.
Oh God, I did say I'm Mary Poppins. I've got collagen in. I've got all sorts in here.
Honestly,
I've got 2 collagen because one only has 5 grams, so I like to double up and take 10 grams.
Hunter and Gather, great.
Yeah, there's a great one, and then a bar because I never know. You know, worst case scenario, you never know where you're going to be, what you're going to be able to grab. So I'd always be prepared. And I am really picky with my protein bars.
So which is this is from America, isn't it?
Yeah, this is an IQ bar. This you can get on Health.
Oh, okay, good.
Now, and these are good. These are like 12 grams of protein and they're high in fiber. But the other one I like is Vive.
Oh yeah,
which they taste like a treat and they're good. But yeah, I don't pick up kind of any random protein bar I can find.
Yeah, I agree.
And then just lip liners and lipstick, which I love.
Amazing. Yeah. What lipstick are you using?
The makeup artist actually used this on my wedding, and ever since I have been obsessed. And it's a really random one. It's so random. It's Kiko pH Glow, and it goes to the pH of your lips.
I love that.
Yeah. And it gives you like a quite nice sheen. Yeah, I really like it.
Good recommendation.
And actually I've got loads of half, this is classic Belle, half elements sticking out because I love the chocolate element in coffee.
Have you
not tried that?
Oh, hold on, is this an electrolyte?
It's electrolyte. Chocolate. So it's element do a chocolate flavour and a whole element is very salty. So I would only ever recommend like a third to half per serving. But if you add it to your coffee, it's incredible. So I always have honestly around my house, there's always half used element sachets. But yeah, that's a delicious.
I love this. Honestly, this episode is full of recommendations. This
delicious
is great.
So yeah.
Belle, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like we've just gone deep dive on everything.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been great. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I really hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did. If you're loving all the girly chats, then stay tuned for next week's episode. We are joined by Jess Shand to talk all things female hormones, health, nutrition. She's amazing. Check her out on Instagram if you want to have a little sneak preview. But if you don't want to miss the episode, click that follow and subscribe button so you are alerted next Tuesday when the episode goes live. Thank you so much and see you next week.